Well, hello and welcome to another hardcore Nuzlocke. Today I want to attempt a run of Pokemon FireRed using only electric types. That is not an electric type, that is the bane of electric types' existence, a ground type. Please, Oak, get it away. I'm scared. Now, considering our username or gamertag is Zap, we have only done one other electric type run, and it was in Pokemon Soul Silver. I had a ton of fun doing it. Electric types have come a long way, the physical special split helped them a lot, but here in Generation 3, there's a lot left to be desired. So can this team win the entire run with the fact that we only have 5 encounters? This one could be impossible. Now our first encounter is actually in Viridian Forest, a Pikachu, and then we cannot catch anything else until we get to the Rock Tunnel portion of the game. That is 3 gyms into the game. So I have decided to change the starter here to a Magnemite. Now before you jump in the comments and saying, whoa, this is going to make Brock way easier, it's not, because we don't learn Sonic Boom until after the level cap. As a matter of fact, the only move we'll have going into him is Tackle. Watch my solo run of just a Magnemite, you'll hear all about it. This isn't going to make the run that much easier, it is going to help with the experience spread, and that is it, because we're going to be stuck with 2 encounters for a long time. Now, of course, if you guys don't like it, you can hit up the Nuzlocke police. We can strike this video from the records as well. That is something we have been doing a lot lately with the Nuzlocke police. And once again, just like almost every single video I've ever done, we name our rival algorithm because we are trying to beat the algorithm both in-game and in real life. You guys have done an insane job helping me beat the algorithm in real life. We have reached over 1,000 subs. I do apologize for the ads, but hey, we gotta make a little something on the kickback. Again, thank you guys so much. That was a huge milestone, and the next one, I believe, is like 100,000 subscribers. I don't know if I'll even get there, but a boy can dream. You guys overwhelmingly have been enjoying the videos, so keep the comments and the likes and the subscriptions coming. I do enjoy them ever so much. Even the negative comments that we get in the videos are liked because it is engagement and it is great for the algorithm. In the last video, I actually had somebody say they were going to unsub to me because I don't do the Kanto portion of these runs. That only happened one time where I didn't do it because I only had one bug type Pokemon. I don't know what they expected of me. I wasn't going to redo the entire run. I don't have time for that. As I've said before, you are more than welcome to start your own channel, doing your own runs, and live by your own rules. We're just trying to have fun here with some different stuff, playing some old games and enjoying these things together, making myself go through all these hoops with all these rules, and trying to beat these runs. Again, thank you for the comment. I do love them ever so much. Our first encounter is a Magnemite that we named Watson. It has a timid, plus speed, minus attack nature, and that's fine. I will take it. There is a name theme. Can you guys guess it? Maybe not off of this Pokemon, but maybe with the next one, which I do show. I'm going to show some of these catches. We may speed this up so it's a little bit faster, but I don't want to hide anything behind the curtains from you guys. Pikachu, caught. We name our Pikachu Elisa, and it has a hasty plus speed minus defense nature. What is with the speed natures? Again, as I said, there is a name theme. Can you guys guess it? I think you should be able to get it after these 2 encounters. If not, wait till the 3rd, you'll definitely get it. We've got 2 great Pokemon on our team. Now it's time to do some grinding. And holy shit, that is a shiny. We haven't had that happen since Pokemon Emerald. We're just in Viridian Forest grinding up for some HP EVs. I unfortunately can't use this thing because it's a bug poison type, so bye-bye Weedle. Comment section, come at me, bro. That one should generate some comments. So the strategy I have going into the Brock battle is the very same strategy I did in the Brock battle in my Magnemite only run. Now technically I didn't do a Magnemite only run, I did a Steel type run. And when you hear me emphasize things like that in that tone, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see them, but pretend. This battle's a little bit different because I lead with Elisa that has a few tail whips still in her arsenal. And we get the Geodude down to -2, and it hits us with a tackle that procs our static ability, paralyzing the Geodude, which is awesome. We go for a third Tail Whip, and this is the point where Geodude decides that it's time to start raising its defense and uses Defense Curl. Before it gets back up to neutral or even plus defense, I swap into Watson. Geodude stays paralyzed, and we get a critical hit struggle down to yellow health on the Geodude. Geodude gets to -1 defense with Defense Curl. We take it to red health with another struggle. Geodude just goes for a Defense Curl to get it back to neutral defense, and we take it out with one more struggle. Now, as Onix comes out, I decide let's swap into Elisa once again. We get hit with a pretty decent Rock Throw down to 16 HP, Rock Tomb rather. I do get off one Defense Curl, and we get hit with another Rock Tomb that we do survive on 5 HP. That's -2 to speed, but we can't stay in for any more attacks, so we swap back into Watson. Onix misses a tackle on the swap, which is amazing, and we hit it for decent damage with struggle. Now it's a back and forth. Onix misses a Rock Tomb, we hit it with another struggle. We're going to outdamage this thing. It's going for Rock Tomb until it lowers our speed. Once it has our speed lower enough, it's just going to go for random moves like Bide or Tackle. So it's a bit of back and forth as we both lose health slowly. This is so slow. This was almost a 4-minute battle, but we are outdamaging the Onix. And finally, we do get off one more struggle with 14 HP left to take out the Onix. The rival battle in Cerulean with Algo proves to be rather difficult. This is over 4.5 minutes of a battle. Pidgeotto is not the problem. We do significant damage with Thundershock against the Pidgeotto, and it hits us with an annoying Sand Attack. Pidgeotto does out-prioritize us the next turn with a Quick Attack, but we take it out with a follow-up Thundershock. This brings out Algo's Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I always say that name wrong. Comment, I don't care. We hit it with a very strong Thundershock. It hits us with a resisted tackle, and we take it out with one more Thundershock. This brings out Abra. Abra does not have any moves. It is a free Pokemon, so I swap into Elisa. Elisa learned the move Double Team, and I don't typically like to use these evasive strategies, but Bulbasaur is very annoying with Leech Seed and Sleep Powder. I don't have a lot of berry options, I don't have a lot of move options. I could level up a little bit to take on this battle, but I want to do some EV training. Plus there are a ton of trainers that we have to battle getting to Bill's house, and we have a very low level cap between Misty and Surge. So, we set up to +6 with Elisa, and we fire off a Thundershock against the Abra that doesn't quite do half damage. We fire off another Thundershock that leaves it in red health, but it paralyzes it, activating its Synchronize ability, paralyzing us. That is immensely annoying. We do break through paralysis to take out the Abra, and out comes Algo's Bulbasaur. It tries to go for Leech Seed turn 1, which misses, and we hit it with a very weak Thundershock. That's doing like an 8th. It has to be. We do get hit with a Vine Whip, and that procs our static ability. Now we're both paralyzed. Nobody's winning. Well, somebody's winning, but Thundershock does another pathetic little bit of damage. We've done about a quarter, and now we outspeed the Bulbasaur because we are both paralyzed. We get a critical hit down to just above half health, and Bulbasaur misses a Vine Whip. Another Thundershock does very pitiful damage, and Bulbasaur misses a Leech Seed. Thundershock. Bulbasaur misses, another Thundershock. Bulbasaur stays paralyzed. We hit it with another Thundershock. Bulbasaur stays paralyzed again, and we take it out with a final Thundershock. Hopefully I sped that up in editing. Now you would think Misty, Water types, Zap, Electric types, Zap, win. It's a close call. The Staryu outspeeds us and goes for Harden, which is no big deal. We hit it with a Stab super effective Thundershock, and it does in fact one-shot it. We are sitting at a pretty decent level. We did edge ourselves a little close to level 22. This was because we were doing some EV training. The level caps end at the start of the battle. Out comes Starmie. We unfortunately do not outspeed the Starmie, and it hits us with a Water Pulse that's doing just around half. We hit it with a Thunder Shock that does over half. Please no crit, please no crit, please no crit, please no crit, no crit, but confusion. Oh. But Zap, Personberry outside Mount Moon. He's a genius. He's a genius. We won the battle. Another Thunder Shock connects, and that is the second gym badge in our pocket. Now that we've done all the things, we can get access to Route 5 and pick up a bunch of Meowth. These are important because they have pickup. Pickup. Not intended, the pun there, but nonetheless, we can get our hands on some TMs and some berries and some rare candies and stuff like that. The only thing that I really care about is TM10, Hidden Power, because hopefully some of our Pokemon have some good Hidden Power moves. It's about the only way that we're going to be able to beat this easily. Meeting Algo on the SSN, our Pokemon do have some updated moves now. That's going to make things a lot easier for us. Pikachu has Secret Power and Brick Break. That doesn't really matter because the stab super effective move Thunder Shock is going to do more damage anyway. Pikachu surprisingly is more physical than it is special until it evolves into a Raichu and then it has a 90 in both stats. Anyway, we do get hit with a Sand Attack and then out prioritized with a Quick Attack. Procs our static ability, but that doesn't matter because we connect with another Thunder Shock, taking out the Pidgeotto. Out comes Algo's Eradicate. We have Brick Break super effective, Brick Break crit, Brick Break one-shot. Out comes Kadabra. Kadabra is very physically frail? Blah, choking on my words here. Physically frail, so we one-shot it with a Secret Power, and that brings out Algo's Ivysaur. How quickly this battle is compared to the other one. We do get off a nice Secret Power, which takes Ivysaur right to half health, but it puts us to sleep with Sleep Powder. I then swap in my secret weapon, Watson, who I taught Hidden Power, and Watson gets hit with a Leech Seed on the swap. What Ivysaur doesn't know and Algo doesn't know is Watson actually has a Hidden Power that is super effective against grass types. I'm not sure if it's Ice, Fire, or Flying, but it is enough to get rid of the Ivysaur in one single hit. From half. Nice. For Lieutenant Surge, we lead with Elisa. Elisa surprisingly can learn the TM for Dig, and because it's more physically bulky than it is special, this is perfect. We also outspeed the Voltorb, which is insane. Again, electric types are fast. We pop back up from Dig, and Dig is enough to cleanly one-shot the Voltorb. Amazing. Out next for Surge is his Pikachu, Mono y Mana. Pikachu versus Pikachu. Surge, Elisa, Zap, Pikachu. We pop back up from Dig and cleanly one-shot the Pikachu. It does proc Surge's Pikachu's static ability, but Zap, being the genius Nuzlocker he is, has a Cherry Berry equipped, and we can cure off that paralysis. Man. Out comes Raichu. I decide to go for Secret Power, fishing for that paralyzation as well as some damage, and we do paralyze the Raichu as it hits us with a Thunder Wave. We're kind of right back to we started. Surprisingly, we do outspeed, which is amazing. Surge goes for a full heal, and I go for Dig. We should be able to knock it out from this range, but I don't know. Raichu, of course, misses the Shockwave because we're underground. We don't stay paralyzed, and we knock it out with a Dig, winning us the third gym badge. And as I said, I'm going to show all of my encounters, so here we are on Route 10, running into a Voltorb that we can easily catch with a single Pokeball. And we name that Voltorb Clement. It has a lonely plus attack minus defense nature. That's not great, but a third member of the team is great. Watson and Elisa have been gaining all of the experience, and I've been struggling with that experience gain, almost over-leveling a bit. Luckily, we stayed right under the cap, and Clement is going to help. After a fair bit of travel through Rock Tunnel, Lavender Town, Route 8, Route 7, we can come to Celadon City, and there is a laundry list of things that we can do whilst we're in here. The first of which is to come to the top of this mansion because there is a gift Pokemon in a Pokeball, Eevee. We want this Eevee. It is going to be a strong member on the team. We name that Eevee Iono, and it has a gentle plus special defense minus defense nature. Meh. But for a future Jolteon, I don't care what the nature is, Jolteon is a great Pokemon. We make our way around to the front of the building, and we can pick up the key item T from this lady to give to the guards to get ourselves into Saffron City. We then of course make our way to the department store, because in the Celadon department store, unlike other games, we can just buy Thunderstones. We don't have to do craziness through the Pokeathlon or the Battle Frontier or any of that kind of stuff. We can just go to floor 4 and we can buy 2 Thunderstones. They're 2,100 Pokedollar things a piece. It's great. I need 2 of them, as a matter of fact, to evolve 2 members on the team. So yes, you can help me. Give me 2 Thunderstones, please. Thank you. And with the first, we can evolve Iono into a Jolteon, making it a viable member of the team. We are now up to 4 Pokemon, and that is amazing. We can use our other Thunderstone on our Pikachu, and I know fans of the anime don't want to see this evolution happen, but Raichu is just a superior Pokemon. I don't care what you say. Welcome to the team, fully evolved Elisa. A few other things that we can do is pick up the coin case from this guy right here in the cafe. We're going to need this to hopefully get our hands on a couple of TMs for Thunderbolt eventually. Then head to this house just outside of Celadon City, talk to this lady here, and get the HM for Fly. This is going to help us get from spot to spot and making travel a lot easier and faster for us. Thank you so much for the HM. So now we're in the mid-game. Collecting all of those items, we can fight our way through the Rocket Hideout. There's a lot of Rocket stuff to do between Celadon, Lavender, and eventually Saffron City. This is the mid-game portion of the game. I don't really show this stuff off because it's not that difficult, but what I wanted to talk about is there is a game where you start in this very building here as a Rocket Grunt. It's one of my favorite ROM hacks for FireRed, Rocket Edition. And is that something you guys would want to see me play? I don't quite know how we would Nuzlocke it, but it is a great game. Next up for gym leaders is Erika. And checking out Iono's hidden power, it is actually Ice type, and Watson is Fire type. I decided to lead with our newly evolved Iono in this battle, and we cleanly one-shot the victory bell with a hidden power Ice. This brings out the Tangela. Nobody commented in the last video. We fire off a hidden power Ice against the Tangela, and we one-shot the Tangela. Out comes Erika's Ace Vileplume, and we fire off a hidden power Ice, and it tanks it, surprisingly. It also connects with a Stun Spore, and like a brainless moron, I forgot to put the Cherry Berry on. So we get hit with an Acid because we're outsped the next turn. It does a decent amount of damage, does get the defense drop, but we break through Paralysis, and we take out the Vileplume. The Pokemon Tower rival battle is never difficult because we've done all the events of Celadon, and our Pokemon have leveled up decently. We do have Spark on Watson, not Thunderbolt. I'm waiting to get that. We could technically get it, but Spark is enough to one-shot the Pidgeotto. Growlithe comes out next, and though we are weak to fire, we outspeed it and we do one-shot it with a single Spark. Gyarados comes out, and this is where I realize I have set up our rival with a double Intimidator. That's going to be a problem for Elisa in the future maybe, but Gyarados goes down to a single Spark because of Pokemon Law. Out next is Kadabra. It too surprisingly falls to a single Spark, and how quickly we have made our way to Ivysaur. The first battle took us almost 4.5 minutes, and this one barely took us a minute and a half. Hidden Power doesn't quite take out the Ivysaur, but we tank a decent Razor Leaf and knock it out with one more Hidden Power. With the level cap at 43 and not 29, we can get Watson to level 30 where it evolves into a beastly Magneton. You guys know as well as I know that this is one of the best electric types hands down. I'm so happy to have this thing on the team. At level 30, Clement also evolves from a Voltorb to an Electrode, and that brings my team fully evolved. We actually have one more encounter that we can get, rounding out the entirety of the team, so it's nice to have some added bulk before we get into the late game. So I spent a ton of time clearing Cycling Road, Silph Company, routes 14, 15, 16, got these guys leveled up pretty decently, and I think we're about ready to take on Koga. Normally I try to do this at a lower level and maybe with only one Pokemon, but I do need to unlock the ability to surf, so let's take on Koga. Now against Koga, I decided to lead with Clement. Clement hasn't seen a lot of screen time since we caught it back on Route 10, and it does have the hidden powers Psychic. Pretty crazy. I'm really happy with the hidden powers that we got, and his hidden power is enough to knock out the coughing. Now out next for Koga is Muck. We fire off a hidden power Psychic, and it does right about half. Muck of course uses Minimize, which is annoying because our next hidden power misses. That means we get hit with a decent sludge from Muck, but we connect with the next hidden power to take out the Muck. As Koga's next coughing comes out, I really don't want to lose Clement just in case this thing blows up or whatever happens, so I'm going to swap into Watson. Watson can resist the self-destruct, and we are immune to poison. Koga is cheating and reads the swap and hits us with a smokescreen, but that doesn't matter. We break through the -1 to evasion, and we one-shot the coughing with a spark. This leaves just wheezing for Koga. I fire off a spark, and it doesn't quite take it out, but wheezing just misses its attack, so we beat Koga with another spark. Beating Koga allows us to surf, opening up the powerhouse. The powerhouse gives us access to our 5th and final encounter, Electabuzz. This is where you could find Magnemite as well, but because we made it a starter, we've got Electabuzz. There are a few things inside the powerhouse that we want to collect as well, such as TM17 for Protect, TM25 for Thunder, and there is a Max Elixir hiding in here somewhere. Not too soon later, we do run into an Electabuzz. This thing is a high enough level where I think we're actually going to have to do something to it, so we swap into Watson. It just sets up a light screen, and then we fire off a Thunder Wave. Now we've got a status condition against it. This is going to work in our favor because it stays paralyzed, and then I go for a Spark. Scarily enough, this crits, but doesn't take out the Electabuzz. I do then decide to use an Ultra Ball because of color continuity. Sure, we'll go with that. And we do catch the Electabuzz with our first Ultra Ball. That is all of our encounters on our team. I name our Electabuzz Volkner. It has a bold plus defense minus attack nature. That's fine. This thing isn't a physical attacker in this generation. It is going to be a special attacker. Now, technically, we could get this Zapdos right here. It is an electric type. It is a legendary, and I don't typically allow for legendaries. The other caveat is we already have our encounter in the powerhouse in Electabuzz. I think this team of 5 is going to be sufficient. I'm sure some of you will say just use the Zapdos, but hey, no legendaries. With all the events that we've completed, we are now getting into the late game, and we start out with a bit of a boss rush in Silph Company with our rival Algo. Iono has learned the moves Thunder and Rain Dance since our adventures in Fuchsia and the Powerhouse. We get hit with a quick attack and we set up the Rain. We get hit with another quick attack, but we fire off a Stab super effective Thunder to one-shot the Pidgeot. Goodbye, fried chicken bird. Gyarados comes out and hits us with an Intimidate, but that doesn't matter because we take it out with a Stab super effective Thunder. That is a bit of an overkill. That wasn't even necessary, really. Out comes Growlithe and we get hit with another Intimidate drop, but it too falls to a Stab non-super effective Thunder. Out comes Alakazam, and I was a little bit worried about this Pokemon, but surprisingly enough, it goes down to a single Thunder. It was a critical hit. I don't know if that mattered. This just leaves Venusaur. Iono has the hidden power Ice. We fire it off, and it does well over half of its health, and Venusaur just goes for Poison Powder, so that's the battle. One more hidden power wins us the Silph rival battle. Next up for the boss rush is Sabrina. Sabrina has some physically frail psychic types, and then she has a Moth. Kadabra leads, and we fire off a Return. Not super effective, not Stab, but it is enough to one-shot the Kadabra. Out comes Mr. Mime. Same thing happens, we fire off a very strong Return, and we one-shot the Mr. Mime. Out next for Sabrina is her psychic type Venomoth. Why didn't they give her a Hypno? Return doesn't KO it, leaving it on a sliver of red health, and we get hit with a fairly weak Psybeam. Sabrina then uses a Hyper Potion. We fire off a Thunderbolt that does decent damage down to yellow health, and we outspeed it and take it out with one more Thunderbolt. This brings out Sabrina's last Pokemon, an Ace Alakazam, which we fire off a single return, outspeeding it and one-shotting it to win us the 6th gym badge. Next up for the boss rush is Blaine. Blaine leads with Growlithe and I lead with Iono. We do get hit with that Intimidate drop, and this is another double Intimidate, which is why I'm not leading with Elisa. We set up the Rain Dance to weaken the power of fire moves, but also guarantee our Thunders hit. Growlithe hits me with a very weak Fire Blast, and we take it out with a single Stab Thunder. Out next for Blaine is his Ponyta. It too falls to a single Stab Thunder as well. Next up is his Rapidash. It too falls to a single Stab Thunder, and this leaves Blaine's Ace and beastly pseudo-legendary Arcanine. Arcanine falls to a single Stab Thunder as well, but it was a critical hit. I'm not sure if that mattered, but that was an easy 7th gym badge. Next up in the list of bosses is the 8th and final gym leader, Giovanni. We lead with Volkner against his ground types because Volkner can learn the move Psychic, and it has a hidden power Grass. We fire off a quad super effective hidden power Grass that cleanly one-shots the Rhyhorn. This brings out Giovanni's Dugtrio. We outspeed it, and we take it out with a single hidden power Grass as well. Up next for Giovanni is his Nidoqueen, and this is the whole reason that we taught Psychic. It's not Stab, but it is super effective, and we have done a bunch of EV training, so we one-shot the Nidoqueen, bringing out the Nidoking. Nidoking too falls to a single Psychic like its queen before him. You both may rest easy, your majesties. This just leaves Giovanni's Ace and final Pokemon, Rhyhorn. It falls to a quad super effective hidden power Grass, and this has been a nice end to the gym battles. The last rival battle that we have with Algo before the Elite Four is on Route 22 outside of Viridian City. I decide to lead with Volkner. We do get outsped with a priority quick attack, but Pidgeot procs our static ability. It doesn't matter because a stab super effective Thunderbolt is enough to take out the Pidgeot. This brings out Rhyhorn, and this is the reason that I led with Volkner. He's got a new Pokemon on his team, but it is weak to our quad super effective hidden power and goes down in a single shot. This brings out his Gyarados. Gyarados hits us with that Intimidate, but it doesn't matter because Pokemon Law. Gyarados goes down and Growlithe comes out. There is the second Intimidate, which doesn't matter for our special attackers, and Growlithe, because it is a young pup, it's kind of frail and goes down to a single Thunderbolt. Out comes Alakazam. We fire off a very strong Thunderbolt, but Alakazam actually tanks it. Just goes for Calm Mind, so we take it out with another Thunderbolt. We've gone through Algo's team very easy these last few battles. Last for him is his Venusaur that we hit with a Psychic. It's super effective, it does over half damage. Venusaur just goes for growth, throwing the entire battle. One more Psychic wins us the last battle before the Elite Four. So we spent some time grinding, and the team is now up to level 60 to match the level cap of Lance's Ace Dragonite. We have Elisa the Raichu with Return, Thunderbolt, Dig, and Brick Break. Iono the Jolteon with Shockwave, Rain Dance, Thunder, and Hidden Power. Clement the Electrode with Thunderbolt, Light Screen, Hidden Power, and Mirror Coat. Our starter Watson has Thunderbolt, Metal Sound, Hidden Power, and Thunder Wave. And rounding out the last part of the team is Volkner the Electabuzz with Thunderbolt, Psychic, Light Screen, and Hidden Power. Can this team of 5 beat the Elite Four? There are 4 Elite Four members in the champion, 5 battle, 5 Pokemon. This will go down in history. Starting out is Lorelei the Ice-type trainer. Now technically, 4 of her 5 Pokemon are actually dual water-ice type, so we have quite the advantage here. Against her lead Dugong, we lead with Elisa, who hasn't seen a lot of screen time, and we cleanly one-shot the Dugong with a Thunderbolt. Out next is Cloyster. Cloyster has terrible, terrible special defense, so it goes down to a stab super effective Thunderbolt as well. Out comes Slowbro. Slowbro's pretty bulky, but not bulky enough to withstand a Thunderbolt from Elisa, despite us not being very heavy on the special attack side. Out next is Lorelei's Ace Lapras, and we slam it with a very hard and very strong Thunderbolt, but it doesn't quite KOing it, leaving it in red health. We do get hit with a Body Slam that does a decent little bit of damage. Citrus Berry activates, pulling Lapras out of healing range, and one more Thunderbolt takes out the Lapras, just leaving the Jinx, the only Pokemon that is not weak to electricity. Jinx also doesn't take super effective damage from fighting type moves because it's dual type Psychic. Thunderbolt does a decent amount of damage, and Jinx gets off a lovely kiss that puts us to sleep. That's annoying. I do stay in, hope to shake off the sleep with an early wake up, but we stay asleep and we get hit with a nasty little Ice Punch. I don't think we're going to be able to withstand too many of those, so I decide rather than losing a Pokemon, let's swap into Clement, who can tank an Ice Punch on the swap, outspeed, and take out the Jinx with a Thunderbolt. For Bruno's team, it was pretty easy to decide who I was going to take him on with. We lead with Volkner against his team. He's got two Onyxes? What's the plural of Onyx? He has two of them, two Rock Snakes that are quad weak to our Hidden Power Grass. The first goes down to a single Hidden Power. The second comes out and it too falls to a single Grass Hidden Power as well. Out next is his Hitmonchan, and of course we have the super effective move, Psychic. Hitmonchan goes down to a single Psychic, and out comes Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee too falls to a single Psychic, and last for Bruno is his Ace Machamp. We fire off a very strong, super effective Psychic that gets a critical hit because Volkner isn't playing around. Against Agatha, I decide to lead with Clement. I want all of these Pokemon to see a little bit of screen time because we have a limited team. Clement also has the Hidden Power Psychic and really hasn't done anything other than just sit in the back seat. Against the lead Gengar, we do fire off a Hidden Power Psychic, but unfortunately our special prowess is not up to speed because we don't quite KO it. Gengar does just set up a double team, and Agatha heals with a full restore. We break through the +1 evasion to take it back down to a sliver of health with another Hidden Power, but we miss our follow-up and we get hit with a Shadow Punch. Next turn we miss again and get hit with another Shadow Punch. We then break through the evasion for another Hidden Power to take out the Gengar, and out comes Golbat. Golbat we can take out with a stab super effective Thunderbolt. That was an easy win, and out comes Arbok. I fire off a Hidden Power Psychic to see how much damage it does, and it takes it down to yellow health, and we get hit with a very nasty stab Sludge Bomb. Agatha's poison team is pretty detrimental. I swap into Volkner because of the low health, and I tank a Sludge Bomb from Arbok in the swap, and we take it out with a Psychic. Out for Agatha next is her ace Gengar, and we fire off a very strong Psychic that takes Gengar deep into the red health but doesn't quite KO it. We get hit to the face with a Sludge Bomb that takes us down to 63 HP, but Gengar heals up with a Citrus Berry, pulling it out of healing range so we can take it out with a follow-up Psychic. This just leaves Agatha's last Pokemon Haunter, which goes down to a single Psychic, and that is 3 of the Elite 4 down, 1 to go. If you guessed that I was going to lead with Iono against Lance's team, you were absolutely correct, and again, you are one of the smartest people I know. She has Hidden Power Ice, duh. Against the lead Gyarados, we soak up the Intimidate, and I don't want to set up Rain Dance or anything against the Gyarados, so I decide to fire off a quad super effective Shockwave that of course cleanly one-shots the Gyarados because why, friends? Say it with me, it's Pokemon Law. Out next for Lance is one of his Dragonairs. Again, both of these have Thunder Wave. I don't want to risk it, so I fire off a Hidden Power Ice. I do have the held Never Melt Ice, so we cleanly one-shot the first Dragonair. Out comes the second Dragonair, and we do the same to it, taking it out with a single Hidden Power. And next, Lance sends out his ace Dragonite. We fire off a quad super effective Hidden Power Ice, and it takes Dragonite all the way to a sliver of health. Dragonite just sets up a safeguard. I know that Lance is going to heal this turn despite the Citrus Berry healing it up because it's still sitting in red health. So this is where I decide to set up the Rain Dance. Lance heals up with a full restore. I set up the Rain, and then we outspeed it and hit it with a quad super effective Hidden Power Ice that this time gets a high roll and one-shots the Dragonite. This leaves us in perfect position for the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl comes out, and the question is, who is the more speedy boy, girl? We are. We win the speed. We one-shot the Aerodactyl with a stab, super effective Thunder, and that is the Elite Four complete. Against our rival Algo, the champion of the Kanto region, I decide to lead with Volkner. Depending on the Pokemon we lead with depends on the order he's going to send his Pokemon out. If we had led with Watson, he'd send out Arcanine second. I think Volkner is going to bait out the Rhydon and have a better time. Pidgeot is not a problem. We fry that chicken with a Thunderbolt in the very first turn. Like I thought, Rhydon comes out next, and it cannot stand up to our quad super effective Hidden Power, so it goes down in a single shot. As the Alakazam comes out, I decide, you know what, instead of just full on attack, let's set up a light screen. We get hit with a Psychic that doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does get the special defense drop. So rather than risk it, I decide let's swap in Clement. It tanks a Psychic to the face, and I go for Mirror Coat, but Alakazam reads it going for Reflect. Next turn, Alakazam doesn't read it and does hit us with a Psychic, and Mirror Coat doesn't do as much as I thought it would, and that's because the light screen is up. However, we can outspeed it and take it out with a Thunderbolt the very next turn, and this brings in Algo's Gyarados. Clement could take this thing out, but I need to be set up in a position for the Arcanine, so I swap into Iono, and Iono gets hit with a Thrash that does way more damage than I thought it would. We can clap back with a Shockwave that's quad super effective against the Gyarados, taking it out because, why friends? Pokemon Law. This brings out Arcanine. We can set up the Rain. Arcanine then hits us with a very weak Flamethrower as I thought it would, and I go for Thunder, but I forgot that Arcanine had Extreme Speed, and it hits us with 1, and it takes us down to 2 HP. We fire back a very strong Thunder, but it being the pseudo-legendary bulky boy that it is, we don't quite KO it, leaving it on a sliver of health. We do paralyze it, but that doesn't matter because I know our rival's going to use a full restore. I decide I've got to swap out, so we bring out Volkner as our rival goes for a full restore. We get out prioritized with Extreme Speed that takes us down to 87 HP. I fire off a Thunderbolt that does well over half of Arcanine's health, and as long as we can survive one more Extreme Speed, we win this battle. At least with Arcanine. Extreme Speed connects, and our health stops at 33 HP. If that was a crit, it would have taken us out, and a Thunderbolt takes out the Arcanine, leaving just our rival starter, Venusaur. As Venusaur comes out, I immediately swap into my starter, Watson, and Venusaur takes in the sunlight going for Solar Beam. I hit Venusaur with a Hidden Power Fire that does well over half of its health, and we tank a Solar Beam that is not very effective but gets a critical hit down to 29 HP. Venusaur heals up a little bit with a Citrus Berry. I don't have a choice other than just to fire off another Hidden Power. My team is very battered at this point, and luckily for us, Watson pulls it through, KOing the Venusaur, winning us a deathless run. Man, that run was so much fun. It was very fast-paced, in my opinion. I don't know how the video is going to turn out because I'm recording this clip at the very end and we haven't done any editing, but it's electric type, so it should be fast, right? I had so much fun. All of these Pokemon are great. Even Clement, it didn't see a lot of screen time, but it was a good Pokemon. It had its place, and it took all 5 of them to take down the champion. I've used Magnemite and Magneton in a run before, and it is an amazing Pokemon. We know that, and in later games when it gets another evolution, it's even better. All these Pokemon did well, and I'm very happy to see that Hall of Fame win, and to see that we did it deathless. Once again, thank you guys so much for the continued support. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos as much as you were before. I know the ads can be a little bit annoying, but like I said in the beginning of the video, hey, we need a little bit, you know, I need some paper. Daddy needs some shoes. That's enough of my stupid talk. Thank you guys again for the continued support. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. Stay tuned, I am trying to put out one of these every week. When this video comes out, I'm hoping to have another one for next week already ready because I'm getting ready to go on vacation for about a week. So that's another reason why this one was sped up and kind of quick. I don't want a lull in videos. You know, we had a 2-week lull and a couple-week lull before that, and it really does affect the videos if we don't stay continuous. So enough of me waffling on. We got to get to the next video. As always, guys, thank you so much for the support, and I will see you on the next one.